Hi, gang. Bob Boving to bring you The Mystery Project and the newest Peggy Delaney story by James W. Nichol. The subject of family is one that Peggy usually has trouble with, whether it's to do with Amber and her own guilt, or more recently with Carlos and his fractured domestic scene. But then in Peggy's life, nothing remains simple or cut and dried. Kyra Harper stars in a play called Family Matters.
Hello there. You've reached Peggy Delaney, Toronto Tribune. If you have something confidential you want to pass on, just leave your name and number. The walls have ears. I'll get back to you. If you're calling to give me fulsome, unqualified praise for my columns, feel free now. If you're calling to scream at me, fascist, socialist, cop hater, cop lover, pro-lesbian, anti-lesbian, or anything else that strikes your fancy, go for it. After all, this is a quasi-democracy.
Here comes the coffee brigade, as requested.
Thanks.
Work almost done? It's your third coffee.
Worried about my health?
No, my sleep. You'll be crawling over me all night going to the John.
Okay. Done. Get me off this thing. I hate doing research on the internet. I always get lost. Oh. What's the time? Oh, it's almost 1.
Yeah.
You should go to bed.
Just waiting for you.
Why? As if I didn't know.
Yeah. That too.
That too?
I want to talk to you about something.
What?
I was just talking to Julie.
Laura can't come this weekend.
No, she can come. That's not it. She was telling me she's met somebody.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's serious.
Serious?
They've been seeing each other for 3-4 months. He's a client at the law firm where she works. That's how she met him. He's some kind of businessman.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good, isn't it? Your ex-wife has a boyfriend. Now maybe she won't be calling you every time the roof leaks or a tap trips. She can call him.
She's invited us over for dinner. She wants us to meet the man who will be like Laura's stepdad.
You're kidding.
No. She says she's going to marry him as soon as our divorce is final.
Oh. How do you feel about this?
Not good. Laura's only 6. It'll confuse her.
Uh-huh.
And?
And? There's an and?
He doesn't live here. He lives in Halifax. He's only been in Toronto temporarily on business.
Meaning?
Meaning, Julia's talking about her and Laura moving to Halifax.
Oh, God. Can she do that?
I don't know. I could fight to keep her here. It's a long way to take my daughter. To take her away from me.
I thought you said when the divorce goes through, you were going to get shared custody.
We started off talking about shared custody. But lately, Julie's been saying it might not be such a good idea.
Since when? Since Mr. Wright came along?
No, before that. But she says we should put in the agreement that I get to see Laura as often as possible.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Carlos, go to court. Fight her.
Well, I'm thinking about it. I've always tried to keep things on an even keel between Julie and me. She's a good mother.
Yeah, well, you're a good father, and we are not going to her dinner.
I don't know. I'd like to meet him, see what he's all about.
She's going to suck you in.
No, she isn't.
Yes, she is.
Maybe there's some other kind of arrangement that would suit everyone. Well, he could fly back and forth. The guy's rich, apparently. Patterson Webster.
That's quite a name. Patterson Webster.
What?
It just rings a vague bell.
Well, he's been in the news. Opening auto service franchises all over the city. You know, like Speedy Muffler. Only more comprehensive, Julie tells me.
Carlos, fight for your daughter.
Yeah.
Hi, Bernie. You busy?
I'm going to Paris. I just booked the flight 10 days from now.
The cleaning business must be good.
The cleaning business has nothing to do with it, baby.
Oh, how long are you going?
3 days.
3 days? Why just...
Because that's all the time Michael has. It's kind of a weekend in gay Paris kind of thing.
Is it? Well, congratulations. Who's Michael?
Adonis, in a blue business suit. I think this is serious. I think he could be the one.
For what?
Forever. You know, someone to be with forever. It's just, we get along great.
Uh-huh. What does he do?
He's a systems analyst, computers, something complicated. I met him at a tenants association meeting. He just moved into my building.
Terrific.
Yeah. So, enough about me. How about you? Do you think I look okay in this shirt? I'm meeting Michael for lunch.
You look great.
Yeah, well, so, how are you? You look a little, down.
No, I'm fine. Everything's terrific with me, too.
Yeah?
Julie's met this guy, and she might move to Halifax.
With Laura?
Of course.
Ugh, that's not good. Carlos is crazy about that kid.
Yeah. And so am I. She kind of grows on you.
I noticed that. It's the curls.
Mm-hmm.
What's Carlos gonna do?
He's thinking about going to family court, try to stop her.
That's too bad. Not that he's thinking of going to court, but just fighting over kids. It never turns out good, you know?
Yeah, well, I doubt he'll go to court anyway. He's afraid Julie will become a very unhappy camper if she doesn't get her own way. He's worried that could affect Laura.
Yeah. So Carlos is the one who ends up being unhappy.
No, he is unhappy, Bernie. He's unhappy at work. His fellow cops are still giving him the cold shoulder for blowing a whistle on that illegal conspiracy they were trying to pull off. And if Laura is in Halifax, even if he flies down to see her every 2 months, it's not the same thing. You lose touch. I know this.
Yeah.
And there'll be another daddy around to put her to bed, read her stories, all that stuff. It'll kill him.
So, who is this guy?
Some rich entrepreneur, apparently. Patterson Webster.
If he's so rich, maybe Laura can stay in Toronto and he can fly back and forth, you know, a long-distance relationship.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's exactly what Carlos wants. I'm afraid the long-distance relationship might turn out to be the other way around. Carlos might move to Halifax.
Is he thinking of doing that?
I don't know. Oh.
Oh, what?
Oh, Patterson Webster. I think I know where I've heard that name before.
Where?
Oh, my God.
What?
I did a column on John's School a few months ago. You know, where men convicted of soliciting prostitutes learn to be better citizens.
Yeah?
Patterson Webster was a student there.
John's School?
Yeah, I think I actually have his name in my file somewhere.
What's John's School?
Don't you ever read my columns? It's kind of behavior modification training, like you might put your dog through. The idea is you take a guy who's been caught discussing prices with a prostitute, and you put him in a classroom for 8 hours, and parade him with a parade of cops, lawyers, disgusted homeowners, public health officials, ex-John recovering sex addicts, and ex-prostitutes who tell him what a sleazebag he is. Then you give him a certificate at the end of the day if he's sufficiently contrite, and send him on his way. He doesn't pay a fine. He makes a $250 donation to the school. And he doesn't have to go to court, so no official record.
Sounds like he gets off easy to me.
Most of the guys there are new immigrants, working bottom-end jobs, speaking broken English. They don't have many options when it comes to female companionship. I wanted to follow up on some of these graduates later to find out what they really thought. Ah, here it is. I wrote down a few names.
They give out their names?
Well, no. There was this list, so they could make sure whoever was supposed to show up that day did. One of the administrators left it out on a desk for a minute or two.
Mom, I don't know. Sometimes...
That's a reporter's job, Amber, to gather information.
But it sounds like you stole it.
It was right there. Anyway, like I said, most of the men didn't look like they had many options. But one or two did. One guy in particular stood out. Because he certainly looked like he could afford a call girl if he was so inclined. He didn't have to negotiate out on the street. See this name?
Patterson Webster.
Uh-huh. How about that?
What a creep.
Yeah. How's your steak?
Well, chewy. How's your salad?
Okay.
A rabbit couldn't live on that.
Carlos,
Yeah?
I found something out today.
What?
I don't want you to go crazy.
You don't want me to go crazy.
Julie's boyfriend. Remember how I found his name vaguely familiar?
Yeah?
Well, that was because he's in my files. He got caught on some street somewhere picking up a prostitute.
Picking up a... How do you know that?
Because he was in John's school. I was doing a piece, and that's where I got the name. I think I know what he looks like, too. Tall, sandy hair.
Patterson Webster has a secret life.
Yeah.
Who knows what this guy's all about? Or what's going on in his head? I don't want him anywhere near my daughter.
No.
He doesn't touch my daughter. He doesn't get near her. God.
What are you going to do?
Do? Can't think of anything legal right now.
You could talk to Julie.
No, I could talk to him, face to face, not behind his back.
And say what?
Tell him what I know, and that Laura won't be going anywhere with him. He can either disappear now, or I'll talk to Julie, and she'll kick his ass out the door anyway.
You should be careful, though.
What do you mean?
Well, there just might be more than one Patterson Webster.
True.
And I'd just as soon not have to go to Julie's dinner to identify him. You could get a copy of the original arrest sheet, though, couldn't you?
Probably.
And it would have his Toronto address, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll talk to Julie and postpone the dinner. I'll think of something. And I'll try to find out what her Patterson Webster's address is. We can see if they match. It's better than a libel suit. Carlos?
I have to talk to this guy. Laura isn't going anywhere.
Wait until we check, please.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
Hi, Julie.
Peggy, come on in.
Is Laura ready?
Almost. She ran back upstairs to get some new board game she wants to show her dad. Laura, Peggy's here.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in no hurry.
No, well, I have to go out soon.
Oh, you look great. I love the jacket.
Oh, thanks. It's an Armani.
Wow. So, Carlos tells me we're invited over here for dinner on Tuesday.
Yes, you are. Did Carlos say why?
You have a new friend you'd like us to meet.
Well, not just a friend. I don't like cooking that much. No, Patterson and I are engaged.
Did he give you a ring?
Not yet. He wants to give me the ring that belonged to his grandmother. He doesn't have it yet.
Oh.
We're flying to Halifax in a couple of weeks, so I can meet his family. I'll get it then.
Is Laura going too?
Of course. We're going to stay in Halifax for a few days, and then we'll be driving over to Truro to see Patterson's brother, because the legislature's not in session right now.
Pardon?
Oh, Patterson's brother. He's a cabinet minister in Nova Scotia. Finance.
Finance?
It's a very important position.
Yes, it is.
Oh, the Websters are a famous family in Nova Scotia. Patterson's told me all about them. That's why his grandmother's ring, you see?
Ah.
It's all about tradition and sentiment down there. They're quite different from us. We're catch as catch can, aren't we? Laura, honey, what are you doing?
I understand Patterson's been staying in Toronto on business.
That's right. He's in the franchise industry.
Is he staying in a hotel?
He rented a 2-bedroom apartment in Yorkville. Oh, it's just exquisite. I mean, beautifully furnished. Costs a fortune. But of course, Patterson doesn't care.
Right on Avenue Road?
No, Avenue Road's too busy. On Hazelton Avenue.
Oh. Before I forget, Carlos said to tell you that something's come up, and next Tuesday's not good for him.
Oh?
Some conference, detectives from all over, who knows. Anyway, he has to give a presentation that night.
But I planned for Tuesday.
Well, it's his job, Julie. Maybe next week.
I'll talk to him.
Okay, do that.
Laura!
Hi. Pick her up?
Yeah, she's at the house. Amber's babysitting.
Good. How was Julie?
Just being Julie, even more so. Full of Patterson Webster.
No, not for long. Here's a copy of the citation he was given when he was arrested. And a copy of the charge sheet.
Arrested at Sherburne and Gerard. Oh, that's a hooker stroll, all right. Downscale, though.
Maybe that's his taste.
Patterson Sutton Webster. 2880 Kingfisher Crescent, Halifax. Toronto Res. 118 Hazelton Avenue, Suite 4.
Does it check out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll set up my goodbye talk with him.
Yeah. And now don't go crazy.
You've already told me that.
You could call Julie and get his phone number from her.
Yeah?
Maybe you could say you're going to phone him to apologize for screwing up on your dates. You have a police conference next Tuesday night.
I have a what?
A police conference.
Oh.
Carlos, did you notice this?
What?
The girl who was booked with him, the hooker.
Alice Marie Thompson.
Yeah, she's from Nova Scotia, too.
So what? Lots of girls come up from the East Coast to work the streets here.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, she's not from Halifax. She's from Truro.
Right. Did Julie tell you about Patterson's brother, the MLA? He lives in Truro.
Yes, she did. Almost every time I talk to her. Check out the girl's age. 15. He's just lucky he wasn't caught in the middle of whatever filthy act he had in mind. Sex with a 15-year-old. Now that's big trouble.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, hi. Is this Mrs. Thompson?
Yeah?
Is Alice Murray there?
No, Alice Marie is not here. You from probation?
Yes.
Marnie's social worker said you'd be calling. She calls herself Marnie, by the way, not Alice Marie.
Okay, thanks.
And don't blame me, she broke her probation again.
No, of course not. Do you know where she is?
No, she just took off. She's the only one, you know. I have 4 kids, 3 girls. She's the only one I can't do anything with. Her bed wasn't slept in yesterday. She just went right out the window.
Uh-huh. I don't suppose her taking off this time had anything to do with the Webster family.
How do you know about that?
It's in the file.
Is it? Well, what do you know? And they've been trying to keep it all so quiet, too. Serves them right. Look, as far as I know, Marnie took off with her stupid boyfriend. Anyways, the Webster kid, I think they sent her off to private school in France or somewhere, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
Samantha Webster, little snot. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. They used to come over here. How are you today, Mrs. Thompson? Isn't it a lovely day, Mrs. Thompson? She got Marnie on drugs, I know she did. And the first time they ran away together, it was her idea, not Marnie's. But she's never had a thing happen to her. The Websters always take care of it. And my kid gets picked up for prostitution in Montreal and charged in Toronto.
How did Samantha not get charged?
Money. The Websters have bought her out of more trouble than enough. You know her old man's a friggin' MPP.
Yes.
Mrs. Webster said to me once, "Is there anything we can do for you, dear?" In return for keeping my mouth shut, you know?
What did you say?
I said, "Yes, there is. I won't tell anyone about your precious daughter, as long as you don't talk about mine. I don't want my daughter being talked about by the likes of you."
Well, that must have shut her up.
Well, yeah.
Finished work?
Yeah. Well, I was just making a call. How's the studying going?
Okay.
Where's Laura?
In the living room, watching Fern Gully.
Again? Oh, I think I need a coffee. Where's Carlos?
He just went out.
Out?
Yeah. He told me to tell you he's meeting Julie's boyfriend.
Oh, no. When?
Well, soon, I guess. He just left.
Did he say where?
Yeah. The Blue Moon.
Hi, fellas.
Peggy? What are you doing?
Oh, I just thought I'd join you.
Hello there.
Hi.
This is Patterson. You know...
Julie's boyfriend.
You're Peggy Delaney, of course. It's nice to meet you. Julie's told me a lot about you.
I bet.
I've been reading your columns.
We just ordered drinks.
Uh-huh.
And I've been enjoying them.
Well, thanks. You know, they're just...
There's no pretty way to say this, Patterson, so I'll just come right out with it.
Carlos.
I don't want you around my daughter.
Oh, Carlos.
What? I think you heard me.
May I ask why?
Why? You were arrested with a 15-year-old hooker on the corner of Sherburne and Gerrard, 12:15 October the 1st. Oh is right. Now, I'm hoping you'll just get lost, that I won't have to tell Julie about this. But I will, if I have to. And let me tell you something, Patterson. Her attitude toward you and our daughter will be exactly the same as mine.
Well, you've got me on the spot here, Carlos.
Oh, come on. You're not seriously thinking of choosing your brother's reputation over Julie and Laura.
What?
Anyway, these days, having a daughter like Samantha might not damage your brother's credibility. It might win him a sympathy vote.
Do you mind explaining what you just said?
Yes. How do you know all this?
I'm a reporter. I know there's a connection between you, your brother's daughter, and the kid you picked up. Why don't you tell us the truth?
Yeah. Why doesn't everybody tell us everything they know?
I tried to.
Look, I wasn't hesitating because I was thinking about getting lost. Julie, and Laura too, they mean the world to me. I was just trying to think of what to say. My brother...
The cabinet minister?
Yes, the cabinet minister. Has a daughter who's just turned 16, Samantha, as you just mentioned. And anyone with half a brain could see she's in serious trouble and needs help. With the exception of my brother and his wife, of course. They prefer to think she's going through a wild patch. At Christmas, they sent her off to a boarding school in Switzerland.
And the 15-year-old hooker? Is she a relative, too?
She's my niece's best friend. My brother called me a few months ago, in tears. Samantha had taken off again. She might be in Toronto. And these two kids had worked the streets before, in Montreal, for drug money and thrills. That's how screwed up they are. So I drove around for a couple of weeks looking for them. And one night, I saw Marnie Thompson. I stopped. She jumped into my car. And a patrol car came up behind, lights flashing. We were both booked.
Did she know who you were?
Oh, yeah, once she was in my car.
But you both kept quiet.
Yeah. They put her in the patrol car, and they gave me a ticket. I drove around the block and waited, and then I followed them to a police station. Within an hour, I had a lawyer bail Marnie out. Within another hour, she'd led me to this motel where she and Samantha were staying. I got a hold of Samantha's wrist and didn't let go until I delivered both girls back to Halifax. Of course, Marnie had to come back to Toronto for her court date.
And you chose John's school instead of being identified in open court, just in case there was a nosy reporter around.
Why? Because someone might make the connection to your brother?
No, Carlos, it's not so much about him, his career. It's about the Webster family's reputation for 7 generations. That's what matters.
That's where I noticed you, at John's school.
You did? So that's how...
Uh-huh.
I thought John's school was supposed to be anonymous.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, now I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything.
Yes, I do. I owe you an apology.
No, Carlos. You are absolutely doing the right thing. And I just want to say that I'm not even thinking about trying to compete with you around Laura. But I swear to you, you can trust me.
Uh-huh.
So, you and Julie, you're thinking of moving to Halifax, are you?
Well, that's where I live.
You've been listening to a play called Family Matters. It was this week's episode of the Peggy Delaney series by James W. Nichol. In the cast, Kyra Harper was Peggy, Katerina Scorsone was Amber, John Stalker was Bernie, George Bouza was Carlos. With them were Amanda Hancock as Julie Savo, Fern Downey as Joyce Thompson, and Peter McNeil as Patterson Webster. The music was composed and conducted by Milan Kimlicka and performed by Ray Parker, Kevin McKenzie, Rick Whitelaw, and Scott Alexander. The recording engineer was Wayne Richards, with sound effects by Matt Wilcott. The associate producer was Colleen Woods. Production and direction were by Bill Howell, the executive producer of the Mystery Project. Our coordinating producer is Barry Morgan. I'm Bob Boving, thanking you for listening.